So, what do you need to remember about perfect competition? Let me clean this up a little bit for you. There's a danger with drawing these sets of curves. And I'm going to quote Jim Bradley from the University of South Carolina, who brought to my attention as an undergraduate his big dot theory, which is that students, when they begin economics, try to make every line intersect every other line so that what you get on the test is a big mess that looks like a dot. You don't want to have a big dot on the AP exam. You want to make sure that we can see all of your curves clearly, and they don't all have to intersect. They're not all going to come together at the same point, and it's not always going to be in the middle. So you want to get away from those tendencies. So let's clean that up so that we can see exactly what's going on. And again, keeping consistent with our labeling, quantity down here is output, price and cost on the vertical axis, because we are representing both on here now that we've added our demand curve. So, let's try it again. We want, let's see, average variable cost. We want average fixed cost. Why do I keep doing that? Average total cost. Get that out of my brain. Average fixed cost, not on here. Now we want our marginal cost, and this one's going to be way up here. Remember that the supply line starts at this point, and it's going to be the marginal cost upward. This is our break even. This point is our shutdown. Okay, break even point, shutdown point. We've got our cost curves, break even, shutdown point. If price is higher than average total cost, you're making a profit. With downward pressure on price, it's going to get pushed to your break even point. Price equals marginal revenue equals demand. Now, why is your marginal revenue constant? Because the more you sell, price is going to be the same. Now, the law of demand says something different. The law of demand says that to sell more, you have to lower the price. But not in this market, because you are one little piece of this market. And increasing your production is not going to have an impact. Price is what it is. You are a price taker. So let's go back here, label price on this axis. We drop down from this point where supply and demand intersect. That's your quantity. This is your market equilibrium for perfect competition in the short run. This is the least complicated of the four market types. We're not going to get to monopolistic, oligopoly, or monopoly until the next unit, but you want to make sure that you can draw this. Practice it on your own. Close the book, put the worksheets away, don't look at Blackboard. You want to see if you can reproduce all of this stuff on your own and make sure that it's all labeled. So that was the perfectly competitive firm. What happens when we move from the firm to the industry? I told you this was easy. It is. So let's go from the firm's production to the total market for widgets. Price, quantity. What do they look like? that should look awfully familiar to you at this point after spending this much time in AP Economics. The industry curves are not the same as the curves for the firm, because for the industry, if production from all the firms increased, which would mean that your supply slides to the right, that would put downward pressure on price. Whereas if production from one firm increased, it meant nothing to price because there are just too many other people doing exactly the same thing. So your industry curves are exactly what you're already familiar with: downward sloping demand, upward sloping supply, with your market price and quantity determined by that intersection. And that's basically how you put all that together. It's not real complicated once you get to this stage, but for perfect competition, you've got to understand how to put all those graphs together on the same picture.